刚才Eric 开场告诉我们今天要讲3件事，就是叫 tech， 然后叫 data， 叫做 content。好，那刚才 Gary 的例子已经呼应这3点了。接下来我们有一个无季节的讲学，哈，要告诉各位，那 Yahoo 现在的布局是怎么样啊？这3个圈圈连接在一起哦。他今天也是远道而来，所以我们待会邀请大家用最热烈的掌声来欢迎他哈。Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome VP Global Ad Creative Technology of Yahoo, Mr. Alex Ward.
Hello, everyone. How's everybody in the house? Welcome. I'm really happy to be here in Taipei today. It's one of my favorite cities. I was just here in July and had a great time. So I'm actually a little nervous. Unfortunately, it's kind of funny, but I'm going to roll with it, and I'm going to be funny about it. So actually, Gary spoke about virtual reality, and I really enjoyed that because that was something that I'm really going to speak about in my conversation. And I'm on the IAB Mix Awards, and I was one of the judges for the Lockheed Martin, which won a special award that year. It was really something that really took us by surprise. We were really surprised by it and loved it, and it was the talk of the judging panel. So my whole discussion is going to be really 360 in VR. And I want us to think about what we're doing in the future. But to give you a little history on myself, I started Yahoo in 2002, and I was brought in to think about the next generation of ad creative or advertising across our homepage. And at that point, we weren't really advertising anything on our homepage because our founder, David Philo, was very protective of the experience and wanted to make sure that users were going to see really valuable experiences. He didn't want to scare them away. So he developed a team, myself included, to really think about creative and to think about the next level, the next generation of advertising, and to do it the right way. So he encouraged us to be innovative, encouraged us to work with clients and creative, and to create a premium experience. And in doing so, we increased the revenue from 0 to a few $100 million within a couple of years. So I think that was kind of successful. We really did it really well. We balanced it well with our clients and with our users. So from that point on, we basically grew, and we took what we learned from there and applied it to the rest of the network and eventually globally. So I have a team that's around the world in several offices, and I have a really good team that's in Taiwan. I'm really happy to be here with them. And they're led by Roger Lee, and if you have a chance to ever get to meet Roger Lee, please do. He's a really funny, smart guy.
Where's Roger?
Roger's right here. Stand up, Roger. And please introduce yourself to him. He'll give you a ton of knowledge of the ad creative technology and world that we're living in currently. So, that being said, thank you, Roger. And plus, he likes to drink beer, so please go out if you have. Yes, very much so. All right. So, Yahoo's core value is in 3 key areas: content, data, and technology. From a content perspective, we have leading vertical content in Yahoo Finance, news, sports, and lifestyle. We have leading rich data from our Flurry Analytics platform and from our Yahoo Mail platform. And we have rich technology solutions from our Gemini platform and our viral DSP platforms. So when you think of Yahoo, please think of those 3 things. Those are what we do. So I'm a creative person. I like to think about content and data and technology, and I'd like to use that formula to try to figure out where could we add value with virtual reality within our ad platform and our ad products. I truly do think virtual reality is onto something. I do think it's something that we should be thinking about. So I want to set the stage for that and basically show you why I think it's going to be a great investment for you in the future in terms of virtual reality and 360, and why it's going to be something that is not going to go away anytime soon with some data points. So, Goldman Sachs. Everybody knows Goldman Sachs, right? Maybe. Maybe it's an American thing.
这高盛公司很著名的投资银行。
Thank you. I need that.
Anytime.
All right. I like laughs. I like clapping too. So, Goldman Sachs predicts that AR/VR is going to be an $80 to $182 billion business by 2025. That's a huge amount of money, and it's only 10 years away, not too far. They believe it's going to be in 9 key areas, and outside of the obvious ones, entertainment, gaming, retail, or tourism and travel, they also believe it's going to be in military, education, hospitality, and engineering. So they think it's going to be big. But there are others, like myself, who think it's going to be truly disruptive, and it's going to be every part of your life at some point in time. So disruption is actually one of those things that is thrown out there like it's going out of style in Silicon Valley. Everybody claims everything's disruptive. So we truly have to ask ourselves, what is disruptive? What does it mean to truly be disruptive? Is disruption something that catches us off guard overnight? Is it something that changes the way that we interact and communicate with our friends and family? Is it something that basically can blow up in physical markets overnight? Could it be any of those things? Has anybody seen or heard of anything that's really, they feel is truly disruptive in the recent 6 months or so? I can. Anybody play Pokemon Go? How many people in this room played Pokemon? Come on, admit it. I did. 45 million daily active users did. That's a huge number. And it's not only that, but it doubled Nintendo's market value by $42 billion, which is pretty impressive. So it just proves that there's a need for it. People are looking for this technology and people are looking to engage with it. So either through virtual reality or through augmented reality, you're seeing people just kind of an appetite for it. So at the same time, you're also seeing a huge increase in 360 content, video content. The Olympics is a perfect example. You've seen a lot of publishers, and you're seeing a lot of advertisers clamoring to try to figure out how they were going to get content in front of their users. I recently just talked to somebody at the New York Times, and they basically sold me that for every editorial article that they're doing, they're trying to develop 360 content to basically complement it. So people are really clamoring to try to figure out how to build the concept behind it. So let me talk about the mobile revolution. And I'm going to really talk about the mobile revolution because I want to draw parallels between the mobile revolution and the AR/VR revolution. And hopefully we can kind of learn some things and apply it to the AR/VR revolution. So Yahoo bought a company called Flurry about 2 years ago. Flurry is a mobile app applications company that basically tracks mobile usage and how it changes over time. Oops, let me go back one slide. So there are 830,000 apps, 2 billion devices, and 10 billion sessions. That's a lot of devices tracking a lot of information. If you look on this next slide, it's a beautiful slide, an analyst left dream. You see what an up and to the right movement or the beginnings of a hockey stick. It's a really important data point, and a lot of people love this. So if anybody knows what kind of launched in 2007 that really kind of stands out here, at least in North America, it was the iPhone. The iPhone was basically, if you think about it back in the day, it was an iPod that played music. Nothing more, maybe a couple of images and photographs, but it was very basic, very simple. But as technology changes, as time goes on, you see diversity of usage happen. Technology changes and you see actual smartphones, users are starting to adopt that. You see diversity happen. So basically what we see is basically starting early on 10,000, gaming, entertainment, social networking, and all the way up to the peak of consumption, which is media. And media is a smorgasbord of all things basically digital that we're all experimenting with, that we all want. On this slide, not only did we see diversity of usage change, we also saw frequency of usage change. We bucketed our users into 3 different categories: regular users, super users, and mobile addicts. Now I'm going to focus on the mobile addict because I think that's the most important group for us for this analogy. Mobile addicts are defined as people that interact with their phones more than 60 times a day. How many people in this room interact with their phones 60 times a day?
来，一天看手机64的，咱们承认吧。
Come on, people, admit it. I think that, so look around, there's a lot of us. So we're all mobile addicts. We're all addicts, right? So basically, hopefully this does not come to mind when you think of mobile addicts.
You're saying we are becoming that?
Yeah, call them. That's what we're going to be. No, do not.
How soon? 5 years? 10 years?
4 years. So my point is, definitely, mobile addicts is every one of us. We're out there. We're a growing community. We're growing numbers of community and population. So if you were to look at mobile addicts as a nation on Earth, in 2014, they were the 8th most populous country out there. By 2015, just 1 year, 100 million more people have joined this mobile addicts phenomenon. And that is number 4, behind India, United States, and China. So there's a lot of growth within this world. So I'm trying to tie it back here. Because early on in gaming early on we saw the iPhone basically for music. Virtual reality is kind of in the same boat. If you think about early virtual reality, you think about games only. But as time again changes, diversity changes, as users actually start adopting it, you're going to see more people actually engaging with virtual reality. So, what does this mean? Content is king. As users move from Yahoo, from desktop to mobile, they want content. They want more usage. They want more games to play. They want more videos to watch. So content is king, and we need to start thinking about how to develop it for them. So I ask myself often, how are we adding value? I'm a creative person. I tend to think that creative can change the world. I may be a little bit naive, but I do think that. And I had to think about it seriously. I had to take it all the way back to my early days at Yahoo, when David Filo basically told me, think about how you're going to affect the user and how you're going to affect them creating an experience that's valuable to you. So we have to think about that in terms of VR. How are we going to make a difference and make a change? Does anybody know what happened July 1st, 1941?
大家有印象吗？这个日期
In the advertising world, I should say.
广告界在1941年7月1号发生什么事？
No. So let's think about it. People generally do what they do. They port over existing creative into technology that they don't understand. So anything they have in the vaults, they're going to put it over and see if it works. So July 1st, 1941, this is the very first television ad.
America runs on Bulliver time.
All right. So if you think back in the day, what were the two popular mediums? It was radio and it was newspaper. Basically, static images on newspaper and radio was acoustic and sounds. So the only thing that they really could do is really port over what they knew how to do. But we are in a better place, I think. We have an opportunity to really think differently about it and start really branching into it. It's all very new, but we can start thinking about it. And that's what I asked my team to do. When we're starting to think about creative, let's not just think about porting it over, something that's existing. Let's really try to do something that's unique. Let's not do what we did in Web 0.10. Cute creative, but it's really not that valuable to everybody. So, how can we add value? We're going back to that question yet again. So we wanted to see how we could work adding value and creating 360 content for our clients through content data, what Yahoo does best, content data and technology. So we needed to think how I'm going to show you how we started to think about creating content. Again, this is early on creative. We did not really know what we were doing. So what I'm going to show you is an early concept. We needed a proof of concept. Interstellar. I loved this movie. I thought it was great. It was awesome. The capabilities I could possibly do with it. And again, we didn't have a lot to work with, but we wanted to do something so we could kind of get an advertiser engaged with it. So this is what we came up with. Again, it's very early on. Now, there are interactive components that we didn't actually put into this demo, but that was all we needed to get somebody to come join us. And that company was a company by the name of JetBlue. JetBlue is basically a US airliner. And it's not here in the States, but it's very popular not here in China or in Taiwan, but it is very popular in the United States. It's popular with the young generation as well. So we worked with them on their Viewing Kinda campaign, basically to transport their users into extreme destinations that they're not usually going to see. It was an experiment. It was something that they worked with us directly with, and we created the content for them.
And I'm sick and tired of being so busy. So I tracked down two people.
Someday I'll have it all together.
Who were totally overwhelmed.
I just can't slow down.
To see if I could save them.
All right. So, from a data perspective, we actually saw some really good positive results for this, and it took us a little bit by surprise. From an engagement perspective, we saw a 200% increase in engagement. We saw a 500% increase in time spent. We've done a few campaigns since this. Actually, we've done a lot of campaigns since this, and we've seen similar, if not better, results in most of those cases. We're working with a small company called RetNat, and we're trying to get a better understanding of how we can do better creative best practices for it. Understand how the horizon line works, how we're going to work with audio and narration to basically utilize and make Stranger Things. I know that you pointed that out in your creative, Gary. Was a really one of the testing examples that we did. And it was really they did an amazing job. So we're learning how to make that creative better. So that being said, I also want to show you some examples that we did here in Taiwan through our team. And I'm just going to briefly go through these, and please take a look. Because again, we're learning how to do this. We're enticing and getting people to think about it better. And so please enjoy. This is a billboard. This is for desktop. It's a 360 experience. It's one of the first ones that we did in Taiwan. This is our billboard expandable. It's quite a large format, and this one's actually more interactive and more engaging, and it's expandable. So again, we're really trying to play with this. We're trying to experiment. It's not just mobile, but it can be desktop. It's cross-function. It's cross-device. We can make it work cross-device. And in fact, the next example you'll see is this exact same campaign. So again, early on in this industry about virtual reality and 360, but there's a demand for it and there's an engagement for it. So I encourage all of you to start thinking about how you can make an impact and go forward with it. Because as I said earlier on in this presentation, virtual reality, I believe, is here to stay. It's only going to get better. As we start developing content for it, it's going to make, I think, everybody's lives a little bit better and more easier and more engaging. So from a technologies perspective, we know that we have Brightwell DSP and we have our Gemini platforms, but I was also proud to announce that we launched our 360 ad format back a few months ago here in Taiwan. So to me, I was really excited about this because this allows us a more creative outlet or a bigger palette for our creative outlet. So 360 is an immersive ad format that allows you, brands, to tell your story your way as best you can through a full interactive rich media set. You have all the usual helpings such as dynamic content, social feeds, video, imagery that you can utilize within this creative. It's very cross-functional as well. It works across desktop and PC. It's very important. So if you marry all of that with our huge audience, our properties, and this new ad format, Yahoo Tiles has the ability to reach more users with scale across Taiwan. So bring that full circle. Yahoo's value is content, data, and technology. We are here, we've proven how we've actually been able to experiment with 360 content and also showing how we are marrying our data from first performance perspective and then from a technology perspective delivering it across through a new ad format. So in conclusion, please, think about virtual reality, think about 360, start experimenting with it. Gary has a lot of, like you pointed out, and a lot of people are starting to think about it. So you too as well. and then partner with us. We'll help you do it. I know my team is very excited to work on these type of campaigns, and 360 I think is really exciting for overall for Yahoo. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Alex. 刚才 Alex 讲到2个重点哈，第一个重点他用 Flurry 的数字告诉我们现在 mobile 一些发展状况哈。在座可能有些新朋友不太了解 Flurry 是我们 Yahoo 并购的一个公司啊，它在全世界追踪80万个 apps 被使用的状况。所以刚才你看到 Alex 有一个曲线，像曲棍球的那个棒子一样哈。当然一开始我们在用网络的时候，可能我们都是来听听音乐而已哈。可是你现在看到那个线的最右上角啊，大家现在用 mobile 最常使用的东西叫做 media 啊。所以这个发现让 Alex 在第2部分就谈到了那 media 有什么价值。他刚才也稍微谈到了一个他个人的故事，他个人加入雅虎是2002年哈，那个时候他跟雅虎的另外一位创办人，我们台湾人比较熟悉雅虎的创办人是杨致远啊 Jerry Yang， 但是有另外一个人叫 David Fellow， 啊，他跟 David Fellow 谈的时候，他们那个时代2002年了，他们就谈到说要创造能为使用者价值的服务啊，所以刚才他第2部分就在谈说，那既然知道 media 是未来最重要的东西，那 Yahoo 可以怎么样帮各位在内容上加值？所以刚才我们看到他举了一些台湾和国外的例子哈，就包括刚才大家看到那 Interstellar 哈，这个电影叫做《星际效应》，大家印象犹新吧？你可以拿着你的平板电脑就看到一个360度的星际效应的场景哈。那另外一个例子就是 Human Kingdom 啊，这是美国一个公司叫做 JetBlue 啊，大家如果有兴趣的话可以去搜寻 Jet 就是那个喷射机的 Jet，Blue 就是蓝色啊。JetBlue 是美国一个廉价航空公司哈，所以你大概可以体会到它为什么要做360度呢？因为它鼓励你到各个地方去旅行，然后看看这个地方360度的场景。好，国内的例子大家都看得更清楚了，包括刚才地狱啊，或是说魔鬼克星啊这些电影的片段，那这些影像很强烈的产品用360度呈现是最好的哈。那他最后提到几个名词，大家如果有兴趣的话，可以跟我们雅虎的同仁联络一下哈。那当然360度的广告 format 是今天它的主题，另外一个叫 Yahoo Tiles 啊 ，Tiles Tiles 的意思是像我们浴室里那个一块一块的瓷砖的意思哈。那摆在 Yahoo Tiles 的意思就是说，利用手机这样的一个空间哈，怎么样呈现最佳的广告好。所以我们也谢谢 Alex 远道而来给我们最新的概念哈。好。所以Erica 刚才给我们呈现了3角形，那 Gary 还有 Alex 都进一步诠释了哈。我们接下来要跟各位分享4个我们广告主的实用的案例哈。我知道今天在座有代理商的广告主，我可不可以来调查一下，也让各位彼此认识一下。在座是代理商的举手，我看一下好吗？好，谢谢哈。我们代理商的朋友都坐在前半部。那我们在座是广告主本身的呢，有没有？哦，很棒，好。所以我们今天大概一半一半哈，那所以各位广告主，接下来我们4个案例的分享就是为你们的，让你们体会一下，不管在香港或在台湾哈，怎么样利用这些新的 media 来诉说我们品牌的故事啊。刚才 Gary 定义了4个 P 嘛，第一个 P 大家还记得吗？第一个 P 是什么？不是 product 啊，不是旧的，第一个 P 是什么 ？Yes，purpose，thank you，第一个 P 是 purpose。